So I grew up in a very spiritual family, one that believed a lot in yoga, meditation, and all of that other stuff, which as a 13-year-old, I wasn't always interested in. But still, my parents tried for many years to get me involved into yoga. They would teach me the sun salutation, breathing exercises. They'd send me articles about how yoga can change your life. But every time I got on that yoga mat to try and practice, I just couldn't do it. It was very hard for me to be still. It was hard for me to be calm. And because it was so difficult, I actually started to hate it. But at 14, my parents enrolled me in a yoga teacher training. Not because they wanted me to become a yoga teacher, but because they wanted me to learn what yoga was truly about. And so on the first day, I walked into a room filled with people much older than I, and we waited there for a very long and awkward 5 minutes for the instructor to arrive. And when he did, albeit cliché, everything changed. Simply his presence in the room was enough to bring me peace. He then proceeded to explain the very simple yet profound philosophy behind yoga, about how it's simply a practice to guide us to the present moment, where we can find stillness and peace. So from that moment, I truly began to understand and realize what my parents had been trying to tell me for so many years. And whoever I am today, whatever I am today, I owe to my teacher trainers, the school where I was trained, and of course my parents, who were right all along. So today I'm here to talk to you about yoga. And as simple as that 4-letter word may sound, don't be fooled. Yoga is not headstands, it's not stretching, it's not even an exercise. Yoga is so much more than that. And I can say this because it took me a very long time to put this age-old practice into words for myself. It took me my entire yoga instructor course, my therapy course, and 3 years of teaching, learning, and practicing yoga to finally understand what it means and how it works. So let's start with a mini biology lesson. Say a wild tiger were to appear in this room right now. Our bodies would immediately go into what's known as the fight or flight mode, which is the body's stress response. Our bodies have evolved to have the system in place so that in the face of danger, we're able to survive. Our bodies will then prepare itself to either flee the situation or stay and fight. And it does this by releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, shutting down certain body processes and systems useless in that situation, etc. And in that moment, our body is under what we call stress. Now, this system most probably helped many of our ancestors back in the day survive encounters with wild tigers, because it's designed to immediately respond to any and every perceived fear or danger. The key word here is perceived. Perception is incredibly subjective. Some may consider a wild tiger to be frightening, others may not. Some may consider a presentation to be frightening, others may not. We've come a long way since our hunting and gathering days. Back then, they used the system when encountered by a wild animal. Today, the scariest thing is not having any Wi-Fi. The stress response is an all or nothing type of reaction, which means that there are no levels. It reacts the exact same way, regardless of whether it's a wild animal or a presentation. And so anything, big or small, that makes us feel the slightest bit anxious, afraid, or stressed will trigger the stress response. And so we trigger it almost every single day, multiple times every single day. But the thing is, it's very unhealthy. Stress can cause permanent damage to our bodies. But like I said, the smallest things can stress us out, things that don't warrant this huge response and this huge impact on our bodies. However, the problem is not with the system. The problem is with our perception and our not understanding how or when to use the system. But because of our perceived fears and dangers, we can get stressed very easily and very quickly. And so we're under this constant stress, and we've forgotten what it's like to not be under stress. We've forgotten what it's like to be relaxed, which is where yoga comes in. Yoga doesn't work because the postures are relaxing. In fact, they're not supposed to be. Say you're in yoga class and the instructor is telling you to touch your toes without bending your knees. It hurts, it's uncomfortable. You're trying your best, but you just can't do it. It's really hard, you're sweating. And then the instructor says, breathe normally, remain calm, take deep breaths. And you just want to get out of there. Your mind is rushing with thoughts like, I can't do this, I don't want to be here. Yoga literally puts our bodies under physiological stress. But yoga is called a practice because it is one. You're essentially trying to stay calm and relaxed even while standing on top of your head, or while your entire body is being stretched and your muscles hurt. So that in real life, when you're actually under stress, for example, before an important meeting, you know how to stay calm and you know how to stay relaxed. Yoga teaches us that regardless of what's happening in the outside world, that inside, we're at peace. It teaches us to, even if we perceive a situation as frightening or dangerous, to remain calm and relaxed. And that's why we feel so good after yoga. Because for 1 second, we stopped that constant noise. For 1 second, we stopped the stress. For 1 second, we felt stillness. But we constantly have all of these thoughts in our head, creating all of this stress. And that's exactly where our perceptions begin, with our thoughts. We spend the majority of our day thinking. In fact, we have around 50 thoughts per minute. And most of these thoughts are either about the past or the future. If we're thinking about the present, then we're not truly in the present, or we're not truly thinking. And more often than not, thinking about the future may bring feelings of anxiety, fear, worry. And thinking about the past may bring feelings of sadness, rumination, regret. And either way, by thinking about the past and the future, we suffer things that don't even exist. The past is a tainted memory, a fatal illusion. The future is just your imagination. And most of these thoughts can be perceived by us as frightening or dangerous because they provoke emotions like anxiety and fear. And so we're always under this stress. And eventually we have so many of these thoughts every single day, creating the stress in our bodies that we forget what it's like to not be under stress. Forget what it's like to be at peace. But more than that, by thinking about the past and the future, we forget this moment, the present. And by being in the present, it's hard to be stressed out. From our first breath in to our last breath out, our breath will never be late or ahead of time. Our breath will always be in the present moment. And because it's always in the present moment, we can use it as a tool to guide our minds to the present moment. In fact, the first thing to change in your body as a result of the stress response is our breath. So once we learn to control our breath, and when we learn to slow it down, we soon slow down our thoughts. And then the whole perceived fear or danger goes away. And soon the whole stress response. And once we enter the present moment, it's hard to be stressed out. So let's put this into practice. Okay, so if you're sitting with your legs crossed, please uncross your legs. And if you're wearing glasses, please take them off. Okay, close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Roll your shoulders back. Open your chest. Open your lungs. And as you exhale, completely relax. Relax your mind. Relax your body. Keep this moment for yourself. Bring all of your attention to your breath. Observe your inhales and your exhales. Observe your body. Feel your stomach inflating and deflating as you breathe. Be aware of this moment. Be aware of all the sensations, all the feelings. And if any thoughts come by, just let them come and go. Once you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes, come back. So what we just practiced was a very brief mindfulness meditation exercise. And to me, it really encompasses yoga. Yoga is a practice to guide us to the present moment. Yoga is a practice to learn to stay calm even if the world around you is crashing down. Yoga is letting go of your thoughts. It's letting go of the past and letting go of the future. But yoga isn't just something that I can tell you about or explain. It's a practice, and one that you will only truly be able to understand once you practice it. Thank you.